Hey all, it is Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. I hope you all have had a great 4th of July and you are out and about just enjoying the summer. I wanted to take today just to kind of pause for a moment and nerd out with y'all for a little bit. I've got some progress updates on my Necrons and I wanted to show off just how the army's coming so far, explain a little bit of what they do, what they function as, and show you the paint jobs that we've got going on. This is a Necron Warrior, as he is just unpainted. Very, he's at least put together, but if you can look in there, he's kind of actually like separated out a little bit. And so what we've got here is a character that's ready to be painted, but I used to actually paint them separate pieces, and then I realized it just takes more time. And so you have to be a little careful on some of the painting areas, because like wherever his arms are covering makes it really tough to actually get into some of those details just behind the arms and the gun, because they're just make it tougher for your paintbrush to get in there. But overall, it's not that horrible. And this guy actually needs to have some of his spots that he came off of the plastic sprue cut down. But I just wanted to show you what they start as. One of the first examples I want to show you, we'll just get a few of these out. I've got 6 of these scarabs and 2 different paint jobs there, and actually even in between them, they're a little bit different from one another. So first off, what we've got here is, there we go, the gold legs with green energy, and black bodies are the thing always. Just I really like the black hull on these. Just makes them really stand out. And then with the clear coat, it gave them a little bit of a texture to that as well. And so yeah, these are just a lot of fun. Scarabs are used for scoring points on bases in the game, but also they have 4 wounds in the game, which is a lot for a really cheap unit. And so a scarab swarm is fantastic for just absolutely holding things off, just taking hits. They don't hit back very well at all, but they are fantastic for being the hitters that you need, or just the absorbers that you need in the game. So just want to show you those. They're a fantastic little unit. The next unit is typically our Necron Warriors. I already showed you an unpainted one, and I won't really show you a lot of my unpainted stuff, but at least give you kind of an update on where some of the stuff is. What we've got here is several different versions. I'll also get out R2-D2 and C-3PO. Where are you guys? They're there. All right, cool. So yeah, my paint scheme has turned into the black bodies with silver joints, and then often either black or copper shoulders, and sometimes blue on those as well. The original ones were R2-D2 and C-3PO. I didn't even paint them intentionally to look like that, but they turned out like that in the end and realized it after the fact. And so these were a trial run, and honestly, they were a lot of fun to paint because you can see they have the black joints rather than the black armor plating. And so this was a good experiment. They also have a different gun, which this gun I'm not a fan of, but it was a lot of fun to paint, and I didn't want to change them out. And honestly, they're a ton of fun because usually they're the ones I take off first and foremost because their gun's not as good as the other ones. It's a longer range gun, but it doesn't armor pierce as much, so it can't hit as hard as these other guys. And so what we've got here is my typical, I'm not a fan actually of green energy in general, but yet doing it on the guns for the Necron Warriors has been a lot of fun just to change it a little bit up. And then the blue energy that they have contained, it's almost like their guns don't have as much energy as they themselves do. That kind of design. And I actually put some decals on their shoulders. You can see that right there as well. And so here's one of the completely black with a very, very different stylized paint job that I did blue rimming on everything, which it was a ton of fun and it looks really good, but it's very time consuming. And I love this. Actually, the more I look at it, I'm like, I kind of fall in love with this every time I see it again. Dang, that looks really good. Ideas. The eyes are not as bright as I thought, but they're green, I believe. So, and then once again, here's a completely black with, his eye is kind of interesting there. The blue highlights, he's got his skull kind of messed up and jacked up in there. And so he is a completely black type armor, but with decals on his shoulders. And lastly right here, this is just a very standard, here's the black, and he's even got a black highlighted logo in there as well, which normally I've been going with the bronze copper colors. So just a lot of fun as I've gone and painted, just things change as I go. And so yeah, these are some neat things. I think that's the big primaries of that. There's, you know, here's a different one as well. The blue energy is really starting to come out strong, and this actually has a blue energy gun. I tried definitely a few and even went gold on this guy, as well as on his decals up top, that little different color. So I do use a glossy clear coat on them, but sometimes the application doesn't go how you hope. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting experiment throughout all of it. Let's see. You can at least see the catacomb or the tomb blades. They're unpainted. I'm nervous about these just because the guy in the middle, I'm gonna have to take him out and paint him first and then put him back in and paint the stuff around him. So yeah, nothing's happened on those yet. So we'll move these guys over. We can talk about the Immortals. They're very similar to the Necron Warriors, but their gun is a longer range gun. And so this is one of the earliest ones. Blue energy focus, golden top of his faceplate. I actually use the heads for death marks, the sniper assassins, and put them on these because for the most part, they look way better with that. That's a really cool head. So again, the metal is that silverish gray on that. And yeah, overall really like these. And then after that, I started adding decals on a lot of the ones as I was painting. So again, energy inside, the energy there. Yeah, overall a lot of fun on this paint job as well. And then we get into the two most recent ones. This guy I fell in love with. He turned out so well. So well. There's so many little things about him to love, and I put some extra coppering on his base right there, and yeah, just overall he's got something in him. Interesting. Yeah, and so even did some different energy patterns and tried to put some stuff in between. He's got a hair in him. Oh, that's frustrating. But yeah, that's this little guy. Gotta fix a little thing. Every time you look at him though, you're like, sometimes I'll go, oh, I need to fix something. Oh, his decals on his shoulders. Let's make sure you can see that really good. I thought those looked really cool. Those were fun. This one, start with the decals on the shoulders. Fantastic little paint schemes and styles, different energy, the gun barrels right there. And it's just fun. You can do so many little things to them that make them look so good. And the eye plate just looks like he is terrifying. And I went mostly black on his helmet for this one, other than the actual like teeth area, because otherwise you just lose it. Well, one of these times I might actually try the whole thing. So let's go with the biggest boy. I've already got a video of him, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on him. The Immortals, by the way, they have a longer range gun, so they shoot better than the Necron Warriors, but the Necron Warriors can get into bigger blobs, so they can just have more hit points going on and resurrection easier. So yeah, this is my Doomscythe. I'm calling him Dimitri at this point. He's a beautiful boy. I actually added on his little, the little ball control thing right there, decal on it. I believe you can see it there, just to give it a little bit more fun. And just, yeah, this thing was awesome. And there's the guns underneath. So much fun to paint this. Had a blast with it, and just putting the energy on it and the different colorings and whatnot. It is a long range damage dealer, and because it's a flyer though, it can be targeted from anywhere, so that's a little frustrating. So if they have the range, they can get to him, and that hurts. So this is one of my earliest paint jobs, right after one or two of the Necron Warriors. It was my Royal Warden. Still use this guy very religiously because I don't have like the Silent King yet, but this allows my Necron Warriors or other units to fall back and still shoot. And so he is just fantastic unit, but paint job wise, he was a challenge, but he was so much fun because when he got done, he just, I don't know, just I love these things. They were hard to paint, but it was really a lot of like paint down in there first with the bronze, then do the dots, and just hope you didn't go too far on it and touch the paint lower. He's got green and blue energy coming off of it for his gun. So the energy in there is green. It's almost like he's got blue in there, but inside the gun it turned green. Just really, really cool. A lot of fun, and he's a good character to play with. He's nothing like crazy awesome, but yet the fall back and be able to shoot, because normally if you fall back, you can't. For Necrons, that makes a big difference for their warriors, because their warriors are terrible in melee, but they are so good in ranged combat if you can keep them there. So there's that. And then we have my personal, one of my favorites right now, having gotten done, is the Chronomancer. So this is like a time mage, in essence, is their idea, or really just a person that can manipulate time around him. And he is just fantastic. My favorite thing about him was painting these tentacles, because I wasn't sure what we were going to do with these. And so what I did first was I painted them that silverish gunmetal gray kind of color. And then what I did was afterwards I wet down some bronze, and then, you know, so it was a much less thick paint, and dipped it into each of those sections, and so it just jumped into those little sections. And then I put a wash over this, which darkened all of this to make it look like metal, and it turned out so well. And the energy orbs and those things, that was an interesting challenge, trying to figure out the different colors and all that you could put on this thing. So yeah, a lot of fun. The only challenge I really had was this headdress is a completely separate piece, so anything that goldish bronze, that is a separate piece, and I had to glue it on, but it wouldn't go on just right. And so I actually had to cut off some of the things that connected to his head behind this, because his head couldn't go far down enough, because this thing wasn't pushed down far enough. And I tried and tried and tried, and it was very, very frustrating, but something you just had to deal with. So yeah, that thing is fantastic. And right now, one of my other ones, it's just every time I paint one, I'm like, oh, that looks good, and that looks good, and that's fun, and da-da-da-da-da. And the bases are really just some super glue, and really, like, these spots are just super glue down here. You can see them where you just let it sit. And so I'm trying to do like a painted desert type scene that's got almost a glowish yellow to it, or a gold. And so you've even got some wreckage that's in here as well. Yeah, there we go. And so you've got things coming up out of the sand. That's what's left of the building and structures. And so this is my Scorpec Destroyer. I've got 6 of these, so I've got 5 more to paint. There's a lot more to paint, that's for sure. But it's just such a fun, amazing thing. And I'm still working on the energy concepts for his swords. I want to do more with the next ones, but this one isn't in a good spot where I'm really happy with him. And honestly, it's funny, you see all these epic paint jobs, and honestly, just doing a black armor with the silver joints and stuff, and occasionally having the bronze mixed in there, it just looks so good, because it really just makes everything pop so well. He is just in a good spot. He looks fantastic. So Scorpec Destroyers are all about close combat. As you could tell, they don't have any guns. They're meant to get in melee and just chop stuff up. And the Chronomancer, I got him to actually help them reroll their charge rolls, but also get a 5+ invulnerable save, which means when they take damage, you either go with your normal save or an invulnerable save. So if they have armor piercing, your save can lower, but an invulnerable save will always stay at a certain number. So the Chronomancer can give them a save just in case their save gets decimated, because in close combat, there's a lot of stuff that will do massive armor piercing, and you go, okay, I at least want to use the invulnerable save that gives me a 1 in 3 shot of surviving this, and that's better than nothing, or a 1 in 6 chance. So it's a fascinating game. I highly recommend it. We're still trying to figure out all the kinks and bugs to it, because there's so much to the game. But being able to paint your own miniatures and design and decorate these wonderful tools for a game, but also that they're yours, that they're your design. And so mine are going to be this theme of a very black style with blue energy, you know, and then the silver as that highlighting color of their joints to really make them, I don't know, just look like such a menacing, awesome army that's that's meant to be, you know, back behind the scenes and really just doing what they do and looking good while they're doing it. So that's what I got. If you've played 40K, you know, what's your favorite faction? What's your design? If you've ever painted a miniature, what is it that you've painted? I'd love to see pictures even, or comments about it below. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one.